Hi everybody, welcome back, or if you're new, welcome to Mel Did It Herself. Today I'm going to show you how to do this easy, quick, straightforward planter box, garden box situation. I used all materials that I actually had sitting around the house, so it cost me $0. It only took me a couple hours in total to do, and very few tools were needed to complete the project. So if you're interested in learning how to make one of these, just keep on watching. So this is just to give you an idea of the space that we are working with. I'm new to gardening this year, so the garden's not looking too cute yet, but we're working on it. So in this space between the hanging planter and the hostas that I have in the garden, there is where I'm planning to put the box. You can see on the other side I've done absolutely nothing, but I have some plans up my sleeve. So this is what we're going to work on today. So I got the inspiration for doing this project by finding these two boards in our garage. They were just left from the previous owners. Thank you guys. And I had seen some people making planters recently, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it out. So these are the products that I used, and I actually used one more 2x4 as well. So I don't know if this makes sense to anyone else, but this is the plan that I made up for myself. So I just kind of made lines using a measuring tape to make sure that the pieces would be cut equally. So I opted for 3 feet by 1 foot for like the dimensions of the box. I did a very rough diagram here, and then using the third 2x4, I figured that I had to cut that into 4 7-inch pieces to use those as reinforcements kind of on the corners, which you will see coming up. Okay, so I am pretty proud of myself for pulling this off because I don't have any power tools. Well, that's a lie. I have a drill, but in terms of saws, I don't have anything. So it's time to resort to a little blood, sweat, and tears and use the hand saw that we have. Honestly, can't tell you if I'm using it correctly, but I mean, it made the cuts. It was a very hot, humid day, and many a sweat was sweat that day. But I basically just hacked at it until I made the cuts. For some of them, once I got to kind of like 95% of the way cut through it, it just kind of like broke off. So it made for some not super cute looking cuts, but I was able to figure it all out and just kind of sand down the edges that weren't super perfect. So it all worked out in the end. So like I mentioned, I'm just making 3 feet by 1 foot cuts. So I'm going to need 2 3-foot pieces for each side, and then 2 1-foot pieces for each end. So you can see them done here. I mean, like I said, the cuts aren't perfect. You can see they're not super straight. I tried to do my best, but human error, you know. What can you do? There's some splinters and stuff, so my way to go about that was to use some sandpaper just for the edges. So here you can see I have a 80 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to be using this on each of the ends just to kind of get rid of any splinters or kind of like sharp edges, but also if any pieces weren't flat, like very flush cut, that allowed me to kind of like even them out a bit by doing it this way. And then I used my drill to create the basis for the planter. So you can see it's just 4 pieces, 2 of the 3-foot and 2 of the 1-foot pieces. And I just drilled them together using 2 screws on each of the pieces, each of the ends, I should say. And I just put it into place here to make sure before going any further that it was going to be a good size for the space that I'm trying to fill. And I was happy with it, thankfully, because I didn't want to have to restart. So then I'm attaching the 4 7-inch pieces that I had cut to be the supports on each of the corners, and I attached them to the width pieces, the depth pieces, I don't know. The shorter of the two, the 1 foot pieces, is where I'm attaching it to. So I made sure that the 7-inch pieces that I am attaching were flush with the bottom of the box. I figured if I kind of hadn't cut them perfectly and it was going to peak up on either side, I prefer that it peaked up over the top. I know some people sometimes make these pieces extra long so that they can have like a bit of feet for it to sit on, but I didn't want this sitting too high because I knew I didn't have a lot of soil to fill the spot, and the things that I'm planting don't need super like deep roots. So this is what I did for now. I can always build it up next year or in coming years if I decide to. Like I said, this was just kind of a quick fix that I needed. I had some plants. They really needed to get planted like ASAP. And my reason for making this box was because I'm hoping that the little bunnies that we have in our backyard don't frig with my plants. But we'll see. I have some chicken wire if I have to put it up as a fence, but I'd like if they just like left my vegetables alone. So you can see here they are nicely attached now. And so I'm going through and attaching the second layer of essentially the frame. I'm making the same shape, the same rectangular frame on top of that initial frame that I had made. And I'm attaching it into those 7-inch pieces that I had just attached into the corners. So it's using them as a bit of a guide and allowing it to attach. So I started by doing the 2 long pieces and then attaching the 2 shorter pieces on the ends, and then that's it. It was very easy, very straightforward. I was very proud of myself, as I've said. And then I put it in and I put the plants in that I had to plant. So like I said, guys, this is very straightforward, very easy. I am confident that if you want to, you could do this yourself for very cheap. Didn't take much brain power, definitely didn't take much skill. And look at it, so cute. I might stain it later this year or next year, I don't know. But for now, I just needed to get these guys planted because they were gonna die if they weren't planted soon. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe or consider it at least. Give me a like and follow me on Instagram at Mel Did It Herself. Okay, bye.